Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Evan coming at you not from Waybacks today, but from the home arcade, the shop. It's been a while since we've done a video in the shop. That's kind of where this channel started, right? You know, we got some good cold beer today. We're drinking Cajun Kolsch by the Seventh Tap from the Louisiana beer from Shreveport. My wife picked that up for me for Father's Day. It's pretty good actually. This is my first time trying it. This is like a German style Kolsch. It's kind of got a darker taste. Definitely tastes the hops really good. So give it a shot. It's definitely worth picking up. I don't know if it'd be an all night beer for me, but luckily that's why I got the tap over there. You know, the kegerator's always full with my day to day beer. I think this keg is Huckleberry, which is another Louisiana brewery. It's actually located in Alexandria. It's about 15 minutes from the house, so they got a really good stuff. I got a white uh, ale in there. It's a Sandbar Blonde, actually. Now I think about it, it'll take me a minute, but so yeah, just figured we'd touch base on everything that's going on. So it has been a wild time at the Paul house, right? So we got a bid to do some housework. We need to change out the vinyl side and had some rot in one wall we need to take care of. Anyway, we were quoted for 2 weeks. We are now on week 10, right? So the house is a mess. The yard is a mess. The shop was a mess. I haven't been able to do much in here, not like I wanted to, but luckily, that project's finally wrapping up. I think, knock on wood, maybe this week it'll get taken care of. But I just want to give you all a quick update and do a walk around the game room. It's changed a lot. And, you know, if y'all watch the video, y'all know that I co-own Waybacks Arcade, Louisiana's largest classic free play arcade. So at Waybacks, that's where we collect all the cool original cabinets. You know, we try to keep everything. CRT monitors, original boards. You know, we've got over 160 arcades. We've got 19 pinballs. We've got a ton of stuff, right? And at the house, it's a different matter. So there's really no need for me to have 160 arcades and 20 pinballs here because I've got them 5 minutes up the road at my arcade and I can play them whenever. So at the house, kind of what my focus on is space, right? So I've got the shop. I've built my little home arcade inside the shop in its own room. And so here, excuse me, everything is more practical, right? So I've only got one game in here with a CRT at the moment, and it's just because I haven't taken the time to swap it out. I get the Wells Gardners. They make a nice 19-inch LCD that takes RGB, takes VGA, it takes all kind of stuff. They're really great monitors, but I'm gonna swap that out eventually. It's probably honestly it's gonna wait until the CRT dies before I do that. But in here, everything is kind of utilitarian. So it's games with the right cabinets, right joysticks, but they do more than just one game because the way I've got it set up, and I'll show y'all here in a second, is I've got room for 13 games and one pinball. And that's pretty much it, right? So in those 13 games, I've got to make sure that I can play whatever I want to play in them, how I want to play them. And so I did a lot of custom coding with some of these. Some of these have Pis, some of them have arcade SD boards, some of them have PCs, some of them have JRock boards. It kind of runs the gambit. Some of them are dedicated multis that I bought. I have a good collection of normal original cabinets that I've modified. And yes, I do have a few arcade one-ups because, I've got a Dragon's Lair, a Star Wars, a Tron, I don't care because I have a Dragon's Lair, a Star Wars, and a Tron at Waybacks original. So I don't need dedicated hardware in here that costs $3,000, $4,000 a cabinet, and when I can just have them set up for multis to do what I want to do with them. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna. That's enough of the introduction. I'm gonna take y'all a walk around the game room. Let me know what y'all think. I'll kind of talk about, the new layout, some of what each of these cabs do, and hope you enjoy it. All right, guys. So here's the unassuming outside. Let's take a look. And here's the new layout. So everything kind of significantly changed, as you can tell, if you've seen any of my previous videos. We took out the pins. Just got tired of maintenance. They didn't get played enough, so I sold them to a buddy of mine. May get them back one day, but who knows. I'm really digging the new layout. And so if you remember, like right here, I had my CRT set up with all my consoles. But what happened is my mini split AC there decided to leak one day and got all over my 90s console, swole the wood up. I didn't get to see it for right off, and it just ruined everything. So I was like, man, I'm not putting anything under there anymore. Here we have our Pineville Monopoly knockoff they sell. This was at Walmart in town. We didn't even know about it, but as you can see, Waybacks Arcade was put on there. I was a little aggravated at first, but I was like, nobody asked us permission. But now I was like, actually, whatever. That's really cool. So, but here we have the Vuelix cab with the MAME running. We got the classic setup, 8 buttons, coin, exit. We got a Tron joystick. But we got this is where I can sit my lazy butt down and play whatever I feel on the MAME running on big box. It's an ET poster puzzle me and my boys put together years back. But here we have the Pac-Man. And yeah, I did cheat. I put it in a Miss Pac-Man cabinet. I like the Pac-Man art, the black art. I like the Miss Pac-Man cab better. If you don't know, you'd never know. But in this cab, the LCDs look washed out in the video, but they're actually really nice looking in person. But I've got the 3-button trackball, 8-way Wiko is running an arcade SD board. I don't know why those colors look so rough, but there we go. That's a little better, huh? Still not as good as it is in plain sight. Anyway, arcade SD board running on that. It's a great board. It's a JAMA board. Here we have the Galaga. That beautiful chrome T-molding that my boy Clint told me to try out. And then this Galaga cabinet is actually, even though it's the same shape cabinet, the Galagas were made out of particle board and the Miss Packs were made out of good solid plywood. So this is a Miss Pack converted to Galaga because I want the dude to last with good wood. This one I think is running, I think it's an SD2. Could be wrong. It's been a while since I did it. I'm going to put the old Light-O-Matic buttons on them. I just thought that was pretty cool. We got the original joystick, original 2-way, original control panel. I pretty much gutted a crappy Galaga and made it out of the better cabinet. Yeah, I've probably had this one now longer than any other. But here's one you don't see very often. So this is the Omega Race. And you definitely don't see them with that kick plate art. They don't reproduce it anymore that I'd found. But the artwork on this dude is so cool. Speaker grill, everything is top notch. This guy I've got running a Raspberry Pi, but the spinner works better than the original ever did. It's an LCD. I love that ghost effect. If I could get in there without me in this shot, but it's just like Asteroids Deluxe or Space Invaders, where the screen's just kind of floating on the background with the use of mirrors. It's a really fun game, really unique. And you just don't see them. You don't see Omega Races anymore, hardly. It's got the black light lit into there. Really great game. Here's my Asteroids cabinet. And you're probably saying, well, that certainly doesn't look like Asteroids, because it's not. The old Owl-Eye coin door. You got an Asteroids cabinet, you've got to have the Owl-Eye coin door, in my opinion. But yeah, so there's Blasteroids on there. What I did on here, I love that artwork. What I did on this particular cabinet, it's a Pi that I programmed. You can see I got the CRT curve and the scan lines. But it's not just Asteroids or Blasteroids. With a button combo press, you actually go to several different games. So, all right, see, there's plain old Asteroids. If I do the combination again, what would come up next? All right, well, now it's Asteroids Deluxe. Push it again. What happens? Now we have Space Duel. Try it one more time. How many games are on here? It's crazy, right? Now we have Gravatar, which I like the attract mode, so we'll go right back to Blasteroids. Anyway, yeah, so you got your button layout. Why not, right? Instead of having 5 or 6 cabinets in here, I can pick my favorite cabinet, which was this regular old Asteroids with the big old Womp control panel that you could take a nap on. And I've got, 5 games? Can't beat it. Here's another one you don't see too often. Not around here, anyway. My buddy up in Alexandria, Clint, he's actually got one. My buddy in Vaughn and Thibodaux has one. But and we have one at Waybacks, of course. But that's only 4 in the state that I know of. It's kind of funny how that worked out. But this is Stern's best arcade. I don't know why it keeps washing out, guys. It's kind of annoying. Stern's best arcade game. Stern, of course, nowadays is predominantly known for pinball. But we have an original Berserk cab. Still has the original Stern sticker. And this one will make my buddy Vaughn feel better because at Waybacks I put a hap control because people just tear them up. But I do have the Wiko here. I can't find the bat stick. I thought I had one the other day. A guy posted. I was going to jump on it. He only wanted like $60, and somebody beat me to it. But we used to have this on Atari 2600, and me and my brothers played the stink out of Berserk. Commando, Frogger. There was a few handful of games that we just played. Berserk was one of them. So I've been after an original Berserk for a while. If you remember my previous videos, I had like this little cabaret Berserk that I'd made from a poker cabinet. Now we got the final iteration, the real full-size cabinet. That's running a J-Rock board, so it's as legit as you can get outside of the original board. Which, speaking of, if you open this little door there, I still have the original boards in there, and they do work. But they're a nightmare to keep going, whereas this J-Rock works every time. So Original boards and harness are in there, but I am running a J-Rock. Speaking of J-Rock, here's my J-Rock Defender cabinet with the old classic chrome coin door that everybody wants, right? Gotta love the chrome coin door and control panel. Robotron's my game, right? So that's why it's set to Robotron right now. This is my last CRT monitor in the arcade, but pretty much keep it on Robotron. I was playing some Defender earlier. It was horrible. When I bought the board, I was so excited. Couldn't find a Robotron cabinet. My buddy Jason up in West Monroe had this beautiful Defender. Like, if you see the sides, I know it's sandwich in here, but if you see the sides, you saw the art, it's like, it's perfect. It's immaculate. It's crazy that this is an original cabinet in this great of a shape. But the good thing about it, so I went ahead and got it from him. It's got like a 1/2 inch bigger one way and 1 inch bigger the other way control panel. So you got a little more room. It's not as crowded. And I actually like the Defender artwork better than the Robotron artwork, but of course, Robotron's my game. You may be asking, what's J-Rock, if you don't know. And so what you can do is go back to the menu and you've got all these original Williams games. Joust, Bubble, Splat, Sinistar, Defender, of course. But it's just a really great board. You know, it's almost spot on. I think they use the same processor chip or something, but I'd be lying. I haven't researched it in a while. I've slept since then. So these two are J-Rocks. Berserk, you can do that too with Berserk. It actually has Berserk Slow Bullets and Frenzy, which is part 2 of Berserk that you can play. But Frenzy looks better. I'm just a Berserk fan. Moving on. This Castlevania. This artwork was made by Joe Zabo, however you'd like to pronounce it, at Jabo Arcade. And it's beautiful. It's, very, very awesome artwork. What I did on this dude, besides put Lord Vader up there, is I got the VS conversion control panel, right? So the metal panel, player 1, player 2. And I actually made this image myself, right? Very excited. I wanted to do this for years. This is a Pi, but it only plays NES games. And since I grew up on NES, it's just, I love it, right? So it's got all the American NES games, and you can just play to your heart's content. But Star Wars, love the Star Wars. People hated it, Contra, Double Dragon, Ninja Gaiden, Predator, Conan, so many games, North and South. That might not be too far from the truth these days, but Paperboy. It was just such a great system. I mean, it brought video games back, and so I just always wanted a cabinet that was simple. You got your A, B, your 8-way, your start, and all the Nintendo games. So super pumped about that. And then I got a little greedy. I was like, well, what other games could I put on here? And so I did go ahead and put the Sega Master System. And even though I don't really play it, but I didn't have experience with the Sega Master System back in the day. But I was a Nintendo guy, so I just kind of play the Nintendo. And I got the Master there just in case I want to check something out, get bored one day or something. And then we have, moving along, Donkey Kong cabinet. Another Nintendo cabinet. This one was in great shape. You got the Clone Trooper up there. But this dude, I actually put a Pi in it, so it's got the right sounds. I was going to do an SD board because it has all the Donkey Kong variations. But, I mean, the SD boards, they're so expensive. It's $350. Then you got to buy a SD card, but it only takes certain ones. Then you got to program it. Or I had another Pi laying around. So, and yes, it is horizontal, but you don't really notice. But this game, this cabinet, I've actually got Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong 3, and the original Mario Brothers. So, gotta have a Donkey Kong. But that's our classic original cabinets. And then, moving along, you got possibly the most important piece in the game room, the kegerator, with my Star Wars comic art that I put on there. This is my custom made out of an original Tron joystick tap handle with my Perlick spout. That box actually came off of the Mandalorian when I bought it. And of course, like I said, I love Monopoly, so my wife got me the Evans arcade piece, and the Shadow box, Nintendo Zapper. So Atari 50. And the only reason I got this is, well, I love Atari, and I found it cheap. But this has several games on it. Right now we got Major Havoc loaded up. This is, of course, our arcade 1-up. It's got everything. It's got Tempest. It's got Centipede. It's got Millipede. It's got, Gravitar. I think it's got a bunch. But what's kind of cool about it is it also has Atari 2600 games. It's a little loud. It's got some Atari 2600 games on it too. I can remember how to get back to the menu system. There we go. Yeah, Mystical Man. And, it's got the trackball and a spinner. So it's kind of got a little everything. Space Duel, Breakout, Gravitar, Liberator, Lunarander. But this is really kind of why I got it. Because it has a few 2600 games on there. So you got Yar's Revenge, of course, Adventure, Canyon Bomber, another favorite of mine. Haunted House, Missile Command, Secret Mary, or Save Mary. That's a new one they just released. It's actually pretty cool. I'm digging Save Mary. Sword Quest series is on here. Tempest, Video Pinball. So yeah, it's a pretty cool little system. It's like I said, I got it for a good price. I dig that finally, after so many years of dry this absence or whatever from Atari, that the new owners are kind of trying to do something with it, right? Because it was such an iconic brand. You just hate to let that die. But anyway, moving on. So instead of spending $2,500 on a Tron cabinet, since I already have one, I got the arcade 1-up one. And you can see I've done a few mods, right? So it didn't come with a coin door. I put a coin door on it, stash everything in there, light up buttons. The Discotron marquee wasn't on there. I wanted it on there. Got the Glenn's Retro Show spinner, push pull. It's not my favorite. It was a pain in the ass to get everything working, but it's on there. And I also got the Glenn's joystick, just because the Atari one was so cheap, it was gonna fall apart. Did the animated, background mod, but yeah, it's running a Pi. I forgot to turn the lights on. There we go. So yeah, it's got the Tron feel without having to dish out the Tron money. And then I also modded this one, of course. Is why I update the controls in the cabinet if you're just going to leave the old janky one-up board in it. So it is running a Pi with Tron and Disk of Tron. But the main reason I did it is because the Disk of Tron on the one-up was just a plain Jane stand-up cabinet, no background, no call-outs. And so what I did is I actually have the environmental cabinets version running. So you get Sark's call-outs, and I put the background that was on the environmental cabinets. So it's such an upgrade. I don't know if you can hear him. Anyway, so Sark does his call-outs. It was a pain in the butt to get this working right. But, you know, as you can see, spinner is spinning. Everything's doing as it should. It's just such a better upgrade than what Arcade 1-Up put out. Why they didn't do that, I don't know. You know, it's just dumb. If you're going to put out a game, put out the best version of the game. Again, Dragon's Lair, same story, right? I couldn't drop $3,000 to get a Dragon's Lair. I love trying to play Dragon's Lair. I love hearing it going off in the background in the arcade. I just couldn't waste the money, especially since, you know, all three of these we have the originals at way back. So why double buy? This is definitely good enough. This is still running the 1-Up boards. So you got Dragon's Lair 2, and Space Ace. I was gonna get the roll control panel, but they didn't have them. I was like, whatever. You know, it's fine the way it is. You got the beveled bezel there, marquee rather. You got the scoreboard. Works great. Why mess with it? Star Wars cab. I did upgrade the yoke, and so that's using the metal Allen 1 yoke. But this was one of my favorite games for a long time. I still play the mess out of it. You know, did the risers on all these. So if you want to compare, right, these Arcade 1-Up Deluxes with the little risers to the full-size cabinets, they're basically the same height. As you can see with the Nintendo cabinets. The Nintendo cabinets are a little shorter than most, but not much. You know, Asteroids is just a gigantic cabinet for no particular reason, so you can't really compare to the Asteroids, but, you know, they're all full-size, comfortable to play. Anyway, so the Star Wars, right, you got Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Plays great, looks great. Don't regret that purchase at all. They had kind of the cheesy one at first with the blue that said, you know, all the games. This one, they kind of went with the original arcade art, which I think is cool. It's based on a TIE fighter. I like it. And last but not least, as far as games, I did pick this up, right? So you remember I built several virtual pins. This one, I got tired of messing with it, to be honest. Like every time VPX would update, it would screw something up. And it's just a mess. So I finally said, screw it. I'm just going to buy this. I did have the arcade, the At Games for ALP, I think it was, the original pinball they put out. It wasn't bad. It was slow. It was tiny. Didn't have a lot of bells and whistles, but it wasn't bad. I was going to keep it, but my buddy of mine came over. He's like, hey, you know, I'll give you $1,000 or whatever it was. Like, all right, well, load it up. But that was a few years back, and I thought about getting another one, and then they came out with these. This is the At Games Legends 4K pinball, right? And so basically what that means is it's got a 4K playfield instead of the 1080p that the other one had. But I did a couple things to it, not much. This originally just said At Games or something. It was ugly. So I did the Attack from Mars graphic like the cabinet has. Put the rings on the speaker grill because why not? It was like $11. Yeah, it's got a good looking topper. It is the best looking one. They've got a few different titles that they're wrapping the skins in. The game's the same. The game is exactly the same. It's just basically the art package you get. So why did I get this? Well, because they're incorporating Zen, which is like Pinball FX, Pinball M, which I always love. Yeah, it's not real pinball. I don't care. It's virtual pinball. It's not meant to be the real thing. But it scratches an itch, right? Because this is what do I have on here so far? 65 tables. Where am I going to fit 65 pinballs in this room? It's not possible. So it was never meant to be real pinball or to replace real pinball. And so that's why I like the Zen stuff, right? So, you've got all these things that make it video game. There's, characters walking around and spaceships flying. To me, that's cool. Jaws. This is one of my favorites. See if y'all get to see this, but I will load this up just while I'm yapping. But anyway, so it's a cool thing, right? It takes up less room. It's got the Zen tables. It's got Zaccaria tables, which was another real pinball company way back in the day, and they've kind of done reskins, deluxe, to where they put a DMD or a LCD type screen instead of the DMD. They do, they've revamped a lot. But anyway, they also have a lot of originals that you can't get. Like, I built a virtual pin, but I can't get the natural history tables. I can't get the Garfield tables. They're proprietary cables. So this way, I can put anything I want on it because you can hook a PC up to it. But then you also can get the ones that you couldn't get anywhere else. But anyway, if you look at that, that's pretty stinking crazy how good this stuff looks. I mean, look at this stinking water. It's insane. And of course, you got your DMD that's go around and your back glass. And so this was just a better setup than they had with the original tables. Let's find one of their originals on here real quick, because their originals, that's kind of where it's at. Magic Pixel makes them. And see, this is Knight Rider. Love Knight Rider. But Magic Pixel makes their original tables. And I mean, they're top notch as far as virtual pinball goes. Where's that one that I like? It's like dinosaurs themed. There we go. Dinosaur Dynasty. But like, I couldn't have put Dinosaur Dynasty on the PC on my virtual pen because it's proprietary to At Games tables. But just look at the detail. They really did a top-notch job. That's pretty crazy. Now, another bonus, right? So I opted to buy the surround sound feedback that you can put on them. And everybody was talking shit like, "Oh, it makes it. It's amazing." And da da da. I was like, "Well, I'm sure it's cool, but I got a discount coupon whenever I bought this, right?" And so I was like, "Well, screw it. It's $100 off when I get the speakers, put them in." And holy crap, it really does make a big difference. There's the Zen tables. But you got all kind of extra stuff like the general hanging out here and he'll talk trash and the rockets will move, and whenever you bash it and it's time to destroy the spacecraft, then there will actually be a flying saucer flying around, and it's very cool. Anyway, so that's one thing that I couldn't do with mine was have the original tables. I didn't want to waste the money and buy all the extra crap to do surround sound feedback. I didn't have, the working plunger right out of the gate. So this was just an easier option. But anyway, guys, it's getting on a long video here, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Of course, I got all my Star Wars toys and my neons. Our drinking table, black light carpet, watching some Ninja Turtles. We got the boys love the Wii, so I had to leave the Wii for them. We've got the Xbox in here, the TV in here is 4K, so I play my Call of Duty with my brother every now and then. Guitar Hero for the Wii. I've got the Crate. Love those movies when I was a kid. And of course, we're in Louisiana. We got the largest arcade in Louisiana, so I had to have some hot sauce made. So if you ever come down to Waybacks, grab your bottle of hot sauce. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think on the new arcade layout.
Can you dig it? Can you?